Welcome back, people. Welcome back, Prime Time. Yes, I anchor beer and lubes on this beautiful Tuesday.
Now, Tuesdays are usually a little bit turned up, and we decided that we're going to keep it that way because it can be turned up, but with a little bit of blessings.
Yes, praising the Lord, man. I'm telling you.
Joining us tonight, and is the perfect way to actually close off tonight's show as well, because you're going to talk to us a little longer than usual, since we don't always get a chance to explore someone with such an illustrious career. A man who's been singing gospel since he's been 5.
Wow.
Who has reminded us of so many good things, including taking it one step at a time. We are now talking to none other than gospel singer extraordinaire, Mr. Samuel Dyer. Welcome tonight.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
It's a blessing to be here. You know?
Nice.
Blessed to have you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my first question to you is, since at the age of 5 you were singing gospel, is it that your parents were part of the church, or how did it start?
I was raised in church all my life. My father was an evangelist. He was slash like a deacon slash pastor type.
Right.
And my mother was an intercessor, so she used to carry us to church every Sunday.
Right.
You know, church used to start like 7 in the morning, so we used to be real early.
From 11 o'clock.
Yeah, and then it had the weekly services, and I used to be in the choir and all of that. So
it's a big part of who you are altogether.
Most of the time in school and church.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now, with that being said, the progression from just being in the choir to becoming an artist would have been an easy transition, you would think.
Well, it was interesting. I used to sing with my brother and sister. Before, we used to call ourselves the Dyer Brothers. Right. And we used to travel.
Even though you had a sister too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't realize that my sister was the Dyer Brothers. And sister?
Yeah, well, we used to call it Dyer Brothers and then the Dyer family.
Okay.
All right.
And she was there. And we used to go to different islands like Montserrat, Antigua. It was small.
Right.
And we used to sing a lot, gospel songs and stuff. And then I remained in singing gospel. She started singing soca.
Okay.
And, you know, all of that.
So that's generally you staying true to your roots for real.
Yeah. Right. Didn't change whatsoever.
At all.
No.
Now, in the case of careers, as far as careers go, music careers locally especially tend to span a little bit weirdly. I would say weirdly, because usually a lot of people don't get to do that big break type situation until later on in their career. You're a totally different story. And so from the church, from the family movement to now being a solo artist, what's next?
Interesting. There's so much to my life. I've done a lot of traveling. I've done a lot of traveling. I've been to almost every island in the Caribbean, singing gospel. I've been to about 12 or 15 states in America. I've went to the Stellar Awards. I've opened for a lot of major gospel like Mary, Kurt Franklin, Yolanda Adams.
That's phenomenal, because these are like...
They say that people we grew up on, right? Grew up on, you know. Wow, okay.
So I have a wide span. So right now, in this season right now, we're taking, I'm kind of, there was a season in my life where I took a little back seat. I had to do some transitioning and stuff to find out exactly what God was calling me to do. Because yes, you could say, yes, God called me to be a gospel artist, but what exactly is really your calling?
Right.
So I had to understand that my calling is not just singing, but my calling is also preaching, also being in the back line, you know, where nobody's seeing, dealing with the church, empowering the church through psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. So I not only go out and sing, but I deal with choirs, I deal with worship teams, I arrange bands. I help a lot when it comes to the local assemblies in Trinidad and Tobago.
So now you fellowship your own church. You have your own church.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Like you jumping the gun there.
I thought
you ready?
All that work you do, and I'm like, oh, but no, tell me what the church is.
But you do have, you do belong to a particular church.
Yes, that's Covenant House of Praise, Bishop Andrew John. Yeah.
And in the case of you talking about, well, being in the background and doing other things for the church, and even preaching, you're saying.
Yeah.
There's a lot that people don't understand about, well, worship altogether. Because for me personally, I could totally sit down and listen to the music whole day, receive my messages, and be good.
Right.
But there are other people who would prefer a more, you know, articulate method of explaining the gospel and that sort of thing. And so how does the two compare if we were to? One is literally music, which can transcend age and a lot of demographics. And one is a more, well, standardized way of sending the message.
I see you're talking more
in terms
about
of your ministry and actually.
You're talking about the musical genres of
No, not genres, but literally as you are somebody who are, you know, administering the word as you were saying, because this is part of your calling, in addition to actually singing the gospel.
But the good thing about it is the gospel means the good news, right?
Right.
And you could preach the good news in any form or fashion. Some people use reggae to preach the good news. Some people use soca. And right now, the soca gospel is on the rise. It's very, very popular and well appreciated in our nation. I feel proud about it. And then we have also praise and worship. That's my field. Praise and worship is really the sound of the church. When I say the sound of the church is what you hear when you go to church. Where the singers sing. That's what we call praise and worship. So that's where I'm called to do. I do a little soca, I do a little reggae sometimes.
Yeah, just to, you know, connect.
Yeah, and because of the album that I just released not too long ago, it's 17 live tracks. And it have a touch of everything. A little bit of soca, a little bit of reggae, but it's more a praise and worship, hand clapping.
Right.
I love it.
And raising type of music.
My thing is, you know, we've interviewed, you know, reggae artists, soca artists, few, but we never got in depth with the gospel artists. The process to write a gospel song, is it completely different from the other genres? Is it like, okay, all right, does it necessarily mean you have to rhyme this with that? Is it like that at all?
Well, with writing on the whole, they must have some sort of rhyming. Or when it comes to poetry, because it's poetry in song. But my method of doing it is, what I will do is, I will go on the keyboard at home, or the piano at home, and I will just play and play and play, and then music will start coming to you. Coming to me. And then I will get an idea, and then I will go into my word, the Bible, and then I will start looking at the idea that I got. And then I would build.
So that is the process.
Yeah, that's how I do it. I don't know. Some people might do it a little different. But.
Right, and I could identify that similarities to any sort of genre because a lot of people actually who do play instruments tend to talk about being, you know, inspired and getting that melody first. Even persons who don't talk about how they hum in something and then there's ready lyrics. So.
And then you have some folks who will go in a studio, hear a beat.
And then go with it.
And just go with it and just come up with a nice hook line and stuff, you know.
Interesting.
Now, you said the album has 17.
Yeah, 17 live.
Live tracks being as in it's recorded in a live setting or it's all...
What we did was we recorded it in a live studio with all the musicians came together at one. And they put down all the tracks. So we had Christian Dick on drums, we had Joshua Keynes on the keyboard. He's also the producer of the album. We had Andrew Jack, Kashif, some of the best musicians in the country. We brought them together, and then we had some Brennan Virgil. He did the recording of the album itself. And then after we record, we hired an editing engineer.
The whole process.
Then the mixing engineer came in, and then the mastering engineer. It cost a lot.
I was just about to say, so if one of them played autotune with this whole thing over, you would have paid for it.
Let's leave it till 4 o'clock till it's done.
And then it has something called overdub. So it means that if you make a mistake, you could come back, separate and do it.
Tricks in the trade.
We still have a lot of time right here on Prime Time.
We do.
So many questions.
We will ask all of them, and one of them will be about your new music for the day. You're telling us about when we get back. For now, though, we do have to take a break. So while he works on his writing skills, you guys stick around. Prime Time will return.
We the best music, DJ.
And Liz is not here, so don't do it.
No, I don't. I'm not. That's not my thing. That is not my thing at all.
If you guys are not joining us, though, you are in for a treat because we have new music to drop for you with the man Samuel Dyer, who's been chilling with us all night long, right here on Prime Time.
Very talented. And what I wanted to ask before we went to the break earlier, you said you play the piano. Any other musical instruments?
No, that's
just the piano.
Yeah, just the piano alone.
Okay.
And of course vocals, and that's what's bringing us here tonight because you've had an illustrious career. You've continued to do a great job with music, and as you say, you continue to go along the vein of praise and worship. But this next single, One Step at a Time, is more something that anybody can identify with, whether you're along that vein or more of the gospel.
It's a song that is designed to encourage people. You see, in our nation right now, a lot of people are disappointed, you know, with a lot of things. You know what's going on with the economy. Some people lose their jobs, they lost their homes, you know, and even the crime situation is, you know, escalating. But this song is really an encouragement to those who going through, those who are down, to take it one step at a time. Keep on pressing and keep on fighting, because we ought to be a fighting nation. We can't just sit down and
let everything just come at us. No.
But everything's going to come at you soon, and if they have to find you, how do we find you on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter?
But you could get me at, you could check out Samuel Dyer on Facebook. You could also check Samuel M. Dyer at Instagram.
Okay.
You could just type up Samuel Dyer on YouTube, and you'll get a whole bunch of videos.
Videos of all your music.
Speaking of videos, introduce it to the world, man, as we get ready to take in one step at a time.
Oh, I'm waiting to hear this.
Trinidad and Tobago and the world. This song is really an encouragement to you to take it one step at a time. In spite of your situation, this song is for you.
The cares of life is hurting you. There are trials on every side, and you don't know what to do. If